Good evening. This is the March 4th, 2026 Seminole County Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This board is a 7-member board appointed by the Board of County Commissioners. A quorum has been established to hold tonight's meeting. Public hearing items acted upon by this board are referred to the Board of County Commissioners for further consideration. Board members present tonight are myself, Chairman Carissa Lawhon, Vice Chairman Brandy Iapolo, Commissioner Mike Lorenz, Commissioner Tim Smith, Commissioner Dan Lopez, to be arriving shortly, and Commissioner Richard German. Staff present tonight are Dagmarie Segarra, Deputy Development Services Director, Jim Potter, Development Review Engineering Manager, Nesa Borkat, Deputy County Attorney, Joy Giles, Planning and Development Manager, Annie Silloway, Principal Planner, Caitlin Apgar, Senior Planner, and Tammy Brushwood, P&Z Board Clerk. Tonight's meeting will go as follows. Staff will introduce the item. The applicant will present their item. Audience members wishing to speak will then be heard. Audience participation requires each speaker complete a comment card and give it to the clerk. Comment cards are located out in the lobby. Please check the box if you want to make oral comments. Written comments are also welcome. Speakers should restrict their comments to information directly related to the item being heard. When called, speakers should approach the microphone and clearly state their name and address for the record. The board may ask questions of the speaker. After all speakers have been heard, public comment will be closed. The applicant will be given a chance for rebuttal. Any items shown, such as videos, presentations, pictures, or maps, must be left with the clerk for the public record. Items shown from electronic devices should be emailed to the clerk. A motion will be made and then seconded. Board discussion may occur and will conclude with a vote. I will request a roll call vote for any split votes. We'll start the meeting with the acceptance and approval of the proof of publication. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Seeing none opposed, that item passes. Next, we'll go to approval of the minutes. These are the minutes from the December 3rd, 2025 meeting. It's been a long time. Does anyone have any changes, corrections? Do I have a motion?
Motion. Make a motion.
Second.
Okay, the motion passes. Next, we'll move to public hearing items. The first item on the agenda is the Sandy Lane Homes rezone.
Good evening, Caitlin Apgar, Planning and Development Services for the record. I wanted to advise the applicant is requesting a continuance of this item to the April 1st, 2026 Planning and Zoning meeting. Staff does not have an objection.
Okay. Very good.
Can you tell me why he's requesting that? Just what the reason is, or is there one?
I may defer to the applicant for him to speak on that.
Is the applicant here?
Yes.
Okay.
Larry Jordan with Jordan Homes.
Thank you. Could you tell us the reasons for requesting the continuance?
Yes, we still got some things that I'm working on to present to the county, and we'd rather be with all the items that I got to present on this project.
Okay, thank you. How many people in the audience are here to speak on this item tonight? Okay. Okay, so the applicant's requesting a continuance. It's unlikely that there will be any board vote tonight. If there's anyone here who cannot make the next meeting on April 1st when this item will be heard, I will allow you to come speak as long as the applicant has no objection.
I spoke to the HOAs and explained they're aware that it was being canceled for next hearing. It was actually in a video in the internet that they spoke about it, and they just decided to come out, which I don't have any objections if they want to talk, and the board wants to accept that, I'm okay with it.
Very good. Then is there anybody in the audience tonight who will be unable to make it for the meeting April 1st, when this item will be presented by the applicant and heard by the board? Seeing, okay, ma'am, come on up. Tammy, I don't have any cards from you.
I don't think, but I did fill out, so I wanted to speak.
Okay.
I'm Marlene Alderman. I live at 425 Ruth Street, that's Longwood, Florida. My street is a dead-end street, and I'm directly across from Forest Lake Elementary School. There are 3 schools already on our road on Sand Lake. I already have a very hard time getting out of our street, even with a officer directing traffic. There is no light there, and we are already bombarded by all the school traffic, and we also have churches on our street, on Sand Lake Road. So our area cannot handle anything but single-family homes. It really can't. So that's the main thing I wanted to let you know. Because, like I said, we only have one way in and out, and the traffic is horrible already.
Very good. Thank you, Ms. Alderman. Is there anyone else who will not be available at next month's meeting to present, would like to be heard? Okay, seeing none, we will close public comment on this item, and we'll move to a vote from the board on whether or not to continue this item for the April 1st meeting. Any motion? Is there a motion on continuing?
I'll make a motion to continue.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
Very good. All in favor?
Aye.
The item will be continued for the April 1st, 2026 P&Z meeting. Moving on to item number 2, this is the Rock Church special exception.
Want to let the room clear out?
Yes, sure, go ahead. Oh, they're welcome to stay.
Of course.
Chairman,
Oh, these are, oh, I thought these were all different.
Chairman, Nasa Borkert, Deputy County Attorney for the record. Just so you know, I have something I want to talk about to you guys whenever, either now or at the end of the agenda, regarding some potential legislation affecting our rural boundary. And I just want to do a quick synopsis on that, so I can either do it whenever it's your pleasure. It could be afterward. There's just not an option in the agenda for me to speak. It's only the planning director, so I just wanted to let you know that.
Okay, we'll do so at the end of the agenda
Okay,
tonight.
sounds good.
Okay, item number 2, Caitlin.
Caitlin Apgar, Planning and Development Services again. The applicant is requesting the approval for a special exception to allow the use of a church and daycare in the A1 Agriculture Zoning District on approximately 10.62 acres located on the south side of West State Road 46, west of Orange Boulevard. The property has a future land use of suburban estates and a zoning designation of A1 Agriculture. The property is located within the Wekiva River Protection Area, the East Lake Sylvan Transitional Area, the West State Road 46 Scenic Corridor Overlay District, and the Aquifer Recharge Overlay. The site has operated as a church since 2007 with a school component that was granted via special exception in 2016 with a condition of approval that the private school should not exceed 150 students. The proposed daycare requires approval of a special exception in the A1 zoning district. Per the Land Development Code update of 2024, civic assembly uses now require special exception approval as opposed to prior versions of the code. Thus, the expansion of the assembly space and daycare require approval of a new special exception. The current request is for the construction of the new assembly building, addition of classrooms, and the addition of a daycare component to the existing private school. The proposed new 14,519 square foot assembly building will have a seating capacity of 330 chairs and additional office rooms. The project also includes renovation of the existing 11,670 square foot building to accommodate the additional classroom, daycare, and office spaces. The proposed development is consistent with the special exception criteria as stated in the following slides and in the staff report. As a summary, the proposed addition of the daycare and assembly space is intended to serve the surrounding residential population. The existing church functions as a transitional buffer between major arterial roads, State Road 46 and State Road 429, and the residential neighborhood. The applicant has demonstrated adequate buffering and increased separation distance for proposed structures in order to meet compatibility with the surrounding area. A private school and a daycare may function as an accessory use to the church, therefore the request is consistent with the surrounding area. The site is currently developed as a church. The parking provided is compliant with the code and provides a loop to prevent queuing out on State Road 46, as depicted in the stacking plan provided by the applicant. The school and the daycare operate during weekday hours that do not overlap with the church. The subject property meets identified portions of the comprehensive plan with low-intensity development, as further discussed in the staff report and as required by the Wekiva River Protection Area and Suburban Estates Future Land Use Designation. The subject site anticipates a church attendance of approximately 330 people. The proposed addition of the daycare and assembly space is intended to serve the surrounding population. Upon a further examination, the trips generated will likely not exceed the threshold that would require roadway improvements, but will require further examination by traffic engineering. A traffic impact study will be required during the site plan review. This further examination, plus the provision of the car stacking plan as depicted on the slide above, warrant the amendment to the original stated daycare cap of 100 children. The applicant requests a daycare cap of 141, to which staff is able to support based on the trips generated and plan provided. The development order was updated to reflect this change and provided to the board prior to the presentation. In compliance with the Seminole County Land Development Code Section 30.3.5 Community Meeting Procedures, the applicant conducted a community meeting on December 29th, 2025. Details of the meeting have been provided in the agenda package. Staff finds the request meets the identified portions of Section 30.3.1.5, Special Exceptions of the Seminole County Land Development Code. Therefore, staff requests the Planning and Zoning Commission recommend the Board of County Commissioners approve the special exception and associated development order with the updated daycare cap of 141 children to allow the use of a church and daycare in the A1 Agriculture Zoning District on approximately 10.62 acres located on the south side of West State Road 46 and west of Orange Boulevard.
Thank you. Questions of staff? Is the applicant present? Come on up.
Hi, I'm Maverick Von Herbulis, McKee Construction, 717 Monroe Road, Sanford, Florida, 32771. I'd first just like to thank staff for how much they've helped with this process. I've done a lot of these type of projects before where we've had to come in front of the boards, but the staff has went above and beyond to try to help with this because there are some elements of this ask that were a little different than usual with the existing special exception, and they've met multiple times via phone call and in person, even as recently in the last couple of weeks, just to help. So I do definitely appreciate that. But I just wanted to explain the process or the project just a little bit. So the existing church and the existing building obviously is there because of the expansion. Really, the new building that we're building is for. It is for the church. It is for the assembly space and offices. Over the last couple of years, over the last probably I think about 10 years, they've had to move their offices outside of their existing building. So what we're trying to do, the new building is really in order to be able to get a new assembly space and offices there. Regarding the rest of the private school and the preschool, the addition that the renovation that's taking place in the existing building is for that use, but the new building that we are expanding with is for the church assembly and offices there. One thing I did want to mention, a couple items, is that there was some concern from some of the neighbors that we were going to build in the conservation area. I just want to make sure that we're clear on record. We are not touching the conservation area at all. That is not, it's not allowed, and obviously not something that we're wanting to do. The other thing is that because we've been working with staff a lot in the last couple months, is that since we had the citizens meeting, there has been some changes since that meeting to help with some of the concerns, specifically some of the buffering requirements that we're going to buffer all the way behind even the existing church to try to help with some of the concerns that we've received regarding some potential noise. A lot of the noise concerns that we heard were actually from the 429, but obviously there's nothing that we can do with that road, but we can buffer more of the impact that we have. So the new plans that we have show more buffering there behind the church to be able to help out with some of those concerns. Initially, we already went into the site plan process and site review process before we realized that a special exception was needed. So we're kind of running those two concurrently. So I just say that to say that those plans and updated landscape plans have already been submitted to the county through the site plan process, just not through this particular process. Other than that, I know I'll have a chance to rebuttal if needed. I'm just here if there's any questions that y'all have of me.
Thank you. Are there questions of the applicant? I have a question of staff. I think I understand from your packet that there are aspects of the existing special exception that are statutorily permitted at this point, that we don't have any right to consider. Is that correct?
Yes.
Can you clarify some of that for us, please?
From my understanding, and I will speak on it, and maybe Nasa will chime in, but from my understanding, this state allows private schools, so the K through 12 portion, to be outright allowed in the church building without requirement of a special exception. So the state preempted us on that requirement, so we can't, we can't limit that aspect.
Yeah, I can follow up and explain that a little more. Thank you, Caitlin. You did a good job. That is essentially what it is. In 2024, the state revised the private school statute to say that private schools can locate in a building that is being used as a church, theater, cinema, there's a couple other things, museum, performing arts venue, that a private school can locate within those venues. If certain criteria are met, it's been used as a church or a museum or a cinema for the past 5 years, without the need to obtain a rezoning, special exception, or other type of zoning approval. So basically, they preempted our ability to limit the location of private schools in any of those types of facilities that have been existing for 5 years. So we can ensure that our health, safety, and welfare, our health safety codes are being met, our building code, the fire code. If there's issues with transportations, if there's safety issues that come up, we are allowed to regulate that. But as far as us being able to modify or require modification of the special exception that exists right now, we are prohibited from doing that. So my advice to my legal opinion to staff was that this request coming in for the daycares are not included. Daycares are not private schools. They're dealt with separately. that would need a special exception. And since the code changed and now churches need a special exception in the zoning district, they were tying in the church use for this expansion for only the church facilities. But the private school cannot locate in these new facilities without a change of their special exception. They can only locate in the existing facility. So it's, you know, the legislature wrote it, and now we have to try to implement it.
Thank you. Commissioner Smith, I think I interrupted you.
You did, I just said, this might not be material, but we've heard the number of 150, but it's being capped at 141?
So
Or
150,
if there's a, I don't know if that's worth explaining.
my apologies.
Go ahead.
150 may refer to the previous special exception that was approved in 2016 regarding the pre-K through 12th grade cap, as if that number is maybe where that's coming from. But right now, the daycare cap specifically would be 141.
Thank you.
Any other questions of the applicant? I guess I deviated back to staff. We're really on the applicant. Anyone else?
I didn't understand that. So the cap is, the 141 is in addition to the 150? Or no?
So we are, this DO is technically an amendment, an addendum to the last DO. Technically, that DO is still in place, but like Nasa was saying, we can't actually limit the private school. So we can't place a cap on their number of students.
Well, Caitlin, let me just,
Sure,
let
yes.
me interject. So we can't place a zoning cap, like a special exception cap on the private school. It can be capped by virtue of the building code and, you know, class sizes and how many people you can have in a room, parking, those types of things. The daycare cap is just for the daycare. So the special exception for the private school still exists. It's still on the property. This would be in addition to that. That's assuming that they're using the total that was in the original special exception of 150. You'll have to ask the applicant if that's how many students they actually have in the K through 12 school.
I believe they have less. How many students do you have for the private? I believe they actually have less than the 150.
I think I read in the staff report it was
Yes.
like 90 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm still not clear. How many students will be in total
In total.
between the existing school and the daycare?
So there's one, if with the cap of 141, assuming they, you know, that's there, 141, and I think their total for pre-K through 12th was 170. That was their proposed per new data of this application.
So 300, over 300 students. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Is that correct, Maverick?
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions of the applicant? Seeing none, I see that there are some audience members who'd like to speak on this item. I have some cards. Can we call Stephen Parker?
Good evening, my name is Stephen Parker. I live at 35340 Chesterwood Lane in Eustis, and I am the pastor of The Rock. Appreciate you all letting us come tonight. I want to take about 60 seconds and just address something about the history of The Rock and what we're doing to try to give a little bit of background on this. My wife's family was all from Seminole County, from Sanford. Her great-grandfather, James Robson, was the first physician in Sanford. They own that space where that parking lot is down there on First Street. That's now a parking lot. They used to own that. Her grandfather, Harry Robson, built and owned the first sporting goods store in Sanford, owned Robson Marine, who every year on the anniversary of Robson Marine donated a boat to Seminole County Sheriff's Department so that they could use that for their services. My point being this: when it comes to what we're doing at The Rock, whether it's now or whether it was 100 years ago, our purpose has never changed, not mine or my wife's or her family's, and that is to continually add to the growth and the strength of Seminole County, specifically in Sanford. because we have blood here. My wife was born in the hospital I believe this building used to be. And I can tell you that for us, when we go back to the beginning of the Rock of Central Florida in 1999 when we had our first service, all we have done since that time is added to this community. So with the preschool and the school specifically, we added enough to Sanford and to Seminole County so that the mayor of Sanford on November 5th of 2017 declared that the first Sunday in November every year would be the Rock of Central Florida Day. And he did that because of what we continue to give back to the community, the ways that we try to provide for growth in this community, because Sanford and Seminole County means so much to us, to our purpose. I can also say that during COVID, when daycares and preschools and schools were closing down everywhere, and we received calls from the Sheriff's Department wanting to know, would we please leave our doors open so that the Sheriff's Department would have somewhere to take their kids so that they could be cared for, because daycares were closing down, so that the police department could show up. Not only did we do for the Sheriff's Department, for the medical field, for the fire department, for every single group of people that provided for the services of this community, we stayed open and we offered a 50% discount on their tuition. We didn't have to do that. We did that because the community is first in mind. So what I'm sharing with you tonight doesn't have a lot to do with building, but it has a lot to do with vision. It has a lot to do with the reason that we exist. We come because we know that whatever growth we're permitted and allowed to have, the space that you give us, is my time up? Is that my timer? I do that every Sunday morning. But I appreciate what you are doing tonight, and that you listen with a good and honest heart to what it is that we bring to the table. We have a lot of people here representing us, but I can tell you Sanford and Seminole County, that's our heart. And we want to grow, and we want to help Seminole County grow, Sanford grow, and be the better part of it. Thank you very much.
Okay, Tom Weichert.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Tom Weichert. I live at 5019 Northern Dove Avenue in Mount Dora, Florida. I'm a proud U.S. combat veteran and currently practicing medicine in private practice, and have lived as a resident in this community in the Central Florida area for over 18 years. I stand before you as a member of the Rock of Central Florida to ask for your support for our church building expansion. For years, the Rock has been more than a place of worship. It has been a place of service and stability for our neighbors. Our campus currently houses a school and early learning center that provide quality education and childcare to families across the Central Florida area, specifically Seminole County. Those programs allow parents to work and children to learn and grow in a safe, nurturing environment. The Rock also operates local outreach programs, food distributions, mentoring, and support services that meet immediate needs and strengthens families. For example, during times of hurricanes, we have a response team to help and support our community as they recover and rebuild. Our impact extends beyond local borders. The Rock partners with communities in Honduras, Cuba, Nigeria, providing relief, infrastructure, support, education, and medical care. I had the distinct honor of serving as a team leader of our medical mission in Nigeria, where our volunteers and medical professionals performed hundreds of surgeries and countless procedures at no cost to the patient. These are services that would otherwise not have been available. Those missions save lives, restore dignity, and build long-term relationships of compassion and cooperation, all organized and supported through our church, the Rock of Central Florida. The proposed expansion is modest and purpose-driven. It will allow us to enlarge our early learning center, increase classroom space for the school, and increase our resources. These are tangible public benefits. more classroom space for children, expanded childcare at capacity for working families, increased local volunteer opportunities, and enhanced community support that reduce strain on government resources. We understand the council's responsibility to ensure responsible development, which aligns with our goals also. We are an excellent and responsible neighbor and will continue to be as we grow our capacity to serve. As a veteran, I believe strongly in service to community and country. The values that led me to serve in uniform are the same values that drive our congregation to serve locally and globally, allowing the Rock to expand in an investment in people, children gaining education, families gaining stability, neighbors being supported, and communities overseas reaching life-changing aid. I respectfully ask the council approve our request for expansion. Thank you.
Gabriella O'Brien.
Good evening, I'm Gabriella O'Brien, and I live on Shallowford Street, house 3034. I'm 12 years old, and I currently attend the Rock Academy. I first came to the Rock when I was in preschool, and as I aged and was ready for kindergarten, the Rock hadn't had a kindergarten yet. I had also gone to the church at this time. At the time, they only had 5th through 8th grade available, so I ended up going to public school and grew up from kindergarten to 5th grade in that environment. Over time, I eventually grew away from the church, but a few years ago, I came back, and that was the best decision of my life. When it was time for me to go to middle school, I decided I wanted to go to the Rock Academy for school, and I was done with the violence, distractions, and danger of public schools around me. My first year at the Rock has truly changed my life. Although we are all in one building and it is very tight, I know that making the change to the Rock Academy has truly been life-changing for me, and I also know it has been life-changing for others as well. Being at the Rock Academy has opened up many learning opportunities to not only me, but to every other student who also attends there. The Rock Academy is a very tight space, which I've mentioned, and we set up foldable walls for Monday through Friday and then tear them down for Sunday morning. And even currently, we have a wait list to attend our school. This wait list keeps many kids from being able to attend our school, and I believe we should be able to build another building to open up more life-changing opportunities to other students who need our learning resources. As an expansion of our building would also let us grow our church community to others. And that's all I have to speak of on behalf of this item. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay. May I ask each speaker to please state their full address for the record when they come up and give your name? Brianna Batista.
Good evening. My name is Brianna Batista. My address is 34743 Salerno Circle, Sorrento, Florida 32776. I stand here today on behalf of the Rock. Me and my family first came to the Rock 11 years ago, and then about 2 years later, I joined the Rock Academy with their homeschool program, then their online program, until I started going full-time in 7th grade. I have the privilege to not only attend the Rock Academy, but also call the Rock Church my home. The only word that I could think of to describe it is unparalleled, a word meaning something that has no equal, it is peerless and unprecedented. Through the church, I didn't just find people, but I found a family that didn't just see me as a number, but as a person with potential. This school didn't just give me an education, it gave me a foundation. The teachers here invest in every student here personally, including myself. My mom, Vanessa Batista, actually teaches 5 classes here, and seeing the amount of effort she pours into those kids is unbelievable, and none of it would be possible without the building that we already have. It has brought me friends that I now call family that I probably wouldn't have met otherwise. I can wholeheartedly say on behalf of everyone that is a part of the Rock that all we want is to be able to expand the unique culture that has been planted here. We aren't just asking for a bigger building. We are asking for the space to give students the same life-changing chance I had. That's all I have to say today. Thank you for your time.
Midiana Markley.
Hi, my name is Midiana Markley. I live at 523 Lady Ireland Court in DeLand, Florida, 32724. I would like to start by saying that in itself is explainable. We travel from DeLand to the Rock of Central Florida every single day. I'm a teacher. I teach kindergarten there, and my sons also attend there. Before I was a teacher, I was a parent first, and they welcomed my youngest in with open arms during the COVID time. And I watched my shy boy change miraculously and almost instantly. They welcomed him in, and he went from being in a turtle shell to really open up and being who he was. And 2 years later, they asked me to be on staff as kindergarten teacher. And this is now my 4th year teaching there, and I call it home. We call it home, my family. It is home away from home, so the drive, it doesn't matter. I may live in Volusia County, but my heart and our tribe is in Seminole County. And it's at the Rock of Central Florida. So there's no place better. There's no place better than the Rock of Central Florida. The strings we have tied, the people we have met, the community that has strengthened us is unlike I've ever seen before. That to say that the increase by enlarging the building and expanding, I believe will give us opportunity to reach more like myself, the ones that may not expect it or they haven't heard of the Rock of Central Florida yet. Enlarging our building will help expand out into the community and reach further. And I raise sons. My husband and I, we have boys. So in this day and age, it's important that we raise men to us. It's very important, and I believe that the people within the Rock of Central Florida, they help with that. The men and the women, we can call home and we can count on them. So that's all I have for tonight, but I appreciate you for letting me speak, and thank you.
I'm afraid I'm going to butcher this one. Diane Guerrero?
Hi, my name is Diami Guerrero, and 523 Lady Ireland Court, 32724. And this church has really poured into me and my family greatly. My dad started coming to church after I went to the school, and just the effort that I see the teachers pour into here is really amazing. For instance, the 2 language art teachers here, they do labs on Thursdays during their own times to help us, and I've exceeded greatly in language arts because of that. But like other people have said, it's still really tight here, and expanding this would be able to help us get more classrooms and us not having to tear down every time for church when we have it, and it would just be more fluent. And I really believe that this expansion will be something greater than just a new building, and that it will also help us accept more people to call family. And yeah, thank you for listening.
Thank you. Tim Darnell.
Good evening. My name is Tim Darnell, 109 Scogan Court, Sanford, Florida, 32771. I've been a community member here in Seminole County in Sanford since 1982, and been a part of the Rock for 26 of those years, and have raised 2 kids and 8 grandchildren in this church. They all attend the school. They're all becoming a part of what it is. Some of them teach there. My daughter is the principal of the school. My wife is the administrator to her. I mean, she was the principal, and now she's acting as every other role that we find, which is a lot. But my point is that we have all been, the family's all been a part of this house, this Rock Church, for 20-some years. We brought them to the community, and they all live in the city now, and we're just, what we've been able to produce is more members for the church, but they also in turn go out to the community, and they're an example, they're a demonstration to what the Rock Church is to them. It produces life. You've already heard that from some of the students. All my grandkids could say the same thing, but it's just always been positive. The expansion would definitely help us get more mobile, or less mobile. Wait a minute, we've been mobile for a long time, so we'll fill in the spaces. And again, we'll probably, we got a waiting list, people who want what we have to offer. And it's not anything special when you look at, when we came here to the community, churches weren't looked at as something that wanted to be added to the community. We've been a part of a few. And every time we would go to a place and ask, well, we want to start a new facility, not the Rock, but where other places, people didn't want to allow us. There was just a stigma in Sanford about churches starting, because they came and they went. They came and they went. Well, the Rock Church is here to stay because we have found that the community accepts what we have. It's not Bible thumping, it's welcoming, it's community, it's love, support, and everything else that you could want for your family is available there, and we just want to see it continue. I thank you for your time.
Thank you. I have a card here from Christina O'Brien, but you didn't indicate whether you want to speak or not. Where's Christina? If you don't want to speak, that's fine. Your comments are on the record. Matthew Kearney.
Good evening, Lady Chairman, people of the board. My name is Matthew Carney. I live at 130 Integra Village Trail, Sanford, Florida, 32771. I have lived in Sanford my entire life. My family moved to Florida, Central Florida, since 92, something along those lines. Too early for me to remember. I went to school at Midway Elementary. I transferred to Hamilton. I graduated from Seminole High School. I went to Sanford Middle School. I have worked at your local Popeyes. I work at the golf course currently in Sanford. I am a Sanfordite, and I'm here to support the efforts of this man, Stephen Parker, because I attribute a lot of my success, and especially everything that I know spiritually and the drive that I have, I know because of this man and his obedience to the Lord. And he would not want to do this if it wasn't the word of the Lord to him. And that's why he's here, and that's why I'm here to support that. And this isn't just the growth of a church. This is the growth of the kingdom of God. And it is a necessity. Not just a necessity in the spirit, because that's where the real necessity lies, but it's a necessity in the physical, because I'm tired of watching the three-ring circus go on when church is over, because the chairs need to be stacked, everything needs to be put away, dividers need to be put up, and they need people to do it, and they depend on volunteers. And my wife is a teacher at the school. My mother is a teacher at the daycare. My brother is a teacher at the school. I, however, am not, but I am still here in support of it because I attend the Rock of Central Florida. So we're building a new sanctuary, and the old building is going to be all school now. And then they're going to expand upon that. So this is an absolute necessity for us and the kingdom of God. So I cannot implore you enough to approve this. And I do appreciate your time, and I thank you. And I thank you, Steve.
Thank you. Caleb Henron?
forgive my handwriting, Caleb Hinton, address 236 Maureen Drive, Sanford, Florida. I'm here in support of the exception. I have a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old that attend the school. My 5-year-old's teacher is actually Miss Midiana, who came up a little earlier. The couple things I'll say, daycare options in this area are limited. When my wife and I, when we moved here a couple of years ago, the amount of daycares that are actually taking children is actually quite low. So I think if you guys were to allow the exception, allow them to expand, that would be good for the community. Also, their cost, if you pull the price sheet on the Rock versus other daycares, it's the most reasonable cost of all the daycares. And lastly, I'll say the staff at this school is, there's low turnover. So that's a huge positive, especially when you have a small child that you're trying to get them to go in the door first thing in the morning. So thank you for your time. And that is, we support the expansion. Thank you.
Thank you. I have Tim Kearney again, but I think we've heard from you. Oh, okay. So yeah, at least I'm paying attention.
Tim Kearney from 394 Hickory Springs Place in DeBary, Florida, 32713. I am also in favor of the exception, and I want to give you an example of the kind of things that can come from this exception. So my story will start with a felony theft charge. That was for me. And I was going down a bad path, and I found the Rock of Central Florida. At the time, it was in a storefront, and it was very small, but I was welcomed immediately. And through that, I got my first professional job. I was able to get pretrial intervention, and it changed the course of my life in that way. Then I met my wife through one of the functions. We then had a daughter, and we had a very similar experience to Caleb. Just limited daycare options. There was really nothing, and we were faced with the deadline of finding a place where our seed, our baby, could go, and just couldn't find anything that we could afford. And the daycare started literally, I think it was a week before she needed to go. And my daughter has gone through that ELC, and then when the kindergarten started, and up through every grade. And right now she's still attending there as an 11-year-old. Now, the exception is going to allow the next me to avoid being a felon, and allow the next daughter to not have to go to a public school. So I'm in favor of it because if you want evidence, I'm the evidence, my wife is the evidence, and my daughter is the evidence. It is meaningful, and what I'm speaking for are tangible things that have happened, not things that might go wrong, or things that might be not the best. And so I urge you to look at the evidence in favor of what has happened that's good, instead of fearing what might go wrong. So I'm in favor of the exception. Thank you.
John Mark Consolazio.
Cell phone.
You have to leave that for the record.
You can have them.
Good evening. I'm John Mark Consolazio, 3024 India Boulevard, Deltona, Florida, 32738. And I am in favor of the special exception. He's 9 now. 9 and 5-year-old will be going there next year. And they've been only going to school for a couple years, but I've noticed I don't love the public school influence on them too much. And since we've been a part of the Rock for the past year and 2 months and 4 days, it's been life-changing, and there's nowhere else that I would feel comfortable having them. And all of the children that I've spoken to, that I go to church with every Sunday, they can look you in the eye, they talk to you. I've been cutting hair for 10 years, cut thousands of kids. No one looks you in the eye. No one says, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, anything like that. The kids that come out of this school are exceptional, and I pray that my children can also take part in that, and many more, of course, as well. And I think that's only possible with the special exception and the expansion of the church. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Is there anyone that I missed? Would like to speak in favor or against this item? If not, then we'll close public comment. Would the applicant like to speak again? There's nothing really to rebut, but you're welcome to. We never heard from the applicant. Did we? Yes. Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
Sorry, I've just heard all this in favor, in favor. Would you like to talk again? No? Okay. Oh, that's why I'm like, I don't recognize you. Okay, there's nothing to rebut. Anyway, everyone is in favor. Any board questions, discussion, motion?
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion that the Board of County Commissioners approve the special exception to allow, with the conditions stated in the development order, the use of a church and a daycare in the A1 Agriculture Zoning District on approximately 10.62 acres located on the south side of West State Road 46, west of Orange Boulevard.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Madam Chairman, if I may.
Yes.
If you can amend the action to include the amendment to the order to 141 kids.
Would you like to?
I would like to add an additional amendment to include the 141 children to that motion. Do you want me to start over?
No.
Okay,
you
good.
don't need-
Thank you.
I consent. I consent.
Commissioner Smith.
I consent.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, seeing none opposed, the motion carries. And we'll move on to item number 3, Pemberton Carports.
Good evening again. Caitlin Apgar, Planning and Development Services, for the record. The applicant is requesting the approval for a rezone from PD Plan Development to PD Plan Development to allow for reduced building setbacks and buffer requirements for accessory structures on 0.87 acres located on the north side of Pemberton Drive and southeast of South Orange Blossom Trail. The existing future land use is planned development, and the existing zoning is PD of this property. The property is located within the business tract of the Bear Lake planned development. The established PD future land use does not specify a maximum floor area ratio value for the business tract. The subject site is approximately 0.87 acres and was developed in 2005 as a warehouse and office building. The purpose of the PD amendment is to allow for the existence and permitting of accessory structures to the warehouse and office building. The property has been subject to a code enforcement case relating to unpermitted construction, inclusive of these structures. In the pursuit of compliance, the applicant removed the structures but requests the PD amendment in order to complete the permitting. The owner intends to retain 3 accessory carport structures that encroach into the rear yard setback of 30 feet, resulting in a proposed rear yard setback of 6 feet. The carports also encroach into the required 100-foot buffer from the residential lot lines to the north. This is established in Condition 4 of the original Bear Lake PD Developers Commitment Agreement. The current request would result in the reduction of this buffer to 86 feet. The requested reductions will only apply to the accessory structures on the subject property and will not be applicable to the primary structure. The Land Development Code specifies that PD should adhere to the greater benefit and innovation criteria and remain consistent with the comprehensive plan. These criteria are addressed in the staff report and are displayed on the slides. As a summary, the request to amend the rear setback and 100-foot buffer from the residential lot lines does not otherwise detract from the intent of the PD. The Bear Lake PD was approved in August of 1990, which was established under slightly different criteria that exist today. Overall, the amendment to this PD does not impair the PD's ability or inability to meet these criteria on a large scale. The residential tract for the Bear Lake PD is already constructed, and most of the parcels in the business tract are also developed. The impact to the surrounding area is nominal overall in building coverage and impervious surface area, though through the proposed addendum, a maximum floor area ratio is proposed in order to regulate the intensity of the site. The maximum floor area ratio proposed is 0.65 in accordance with typical light industrial uses such as warehouses. The addition of the carports serve to enhance the property and obscure any storage of materials by general business and warehouse uses as allowed in the PD. The site is located in the Seminole County Utility Service Area and is connected to water service. The property was previously approved to have a septic system. The site does not have specific open space requirements per lot. However, the PD requires the overall business center development to maintain a minimum of 3.14 acres of landscaping and open space. The property has access onto Pemberton Drive, which is a local road. Buffer requirements will be determined at site plan approval and will be in compliance with the Seminole County Land Development Code. In compliance with Seminole County Land Development Code Section 30.49 Community Meeting Procedures, the applicant conducted a community meeting on September 24th, 2025. Details of this meeting are included in your agenda package. Staff requests the Planning and Zoning Board recommend the Board of County Commissioners adopt the ordinance enacting a rezone and adopt the associated rezone ordinance per the following motion. Based on staff's findings and the testimony and evidence received at the hearing, the Planning and Zoning Commission finds the request meets the identified portion of the Seminole County Land Development Code and recommends the board adopt the ordinance enacting a rezone from PD Plan Development to PD Plan Development and approve the associated developers commitment agreement and master development plan on 0.87 acres located on the north side of Pemberton Drive and east of South Orange Blossom Trail. Thank you.
Thank you. Is the applicant present? Who are you relative to the applicant? I don't know.
I worked for the previous seller, and I represent the buyer on his purchase who's here. I thought the previous applicant was going to be here, but I guess...
The applicant is not here.
He's going to talk.
Okay, stop. Is he related to the applicant? Can he present for the applicant?
I'm a real estate broker. I represented the applicant on his purchase of the property and represented the next purchaser on their purchase of it.
Go ahead.
So, my name's Cole Winia from 276 Snowfields Run in Lake Mary. So this dates back from 2 sellers ago. He did a whole bunch of unpermitted work at the building, and I represented the buyer of it. We had to adopt all of these code enforcement issues because we didn't know they were an issue until we came in for a use permit. Previous seller did everything he could to accommodate the county. We installed several different stairwells, moved some awnings in the back, and satisfied all the code issues. And these awnings they're awnings carports. They've been here since 2011. They're completely, you can't even see them from the road. And they're just, the current owner needs them for his business, so he can store other materials outside behind the property, so.
Thank you. Are there questions of the applicant? No? Is there anyone here to speak in favor or in opposition to this item? In that case, we'll close public comment. Are there questions from the board, discussion, a motion?
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion that the board adopt the ordinance that they approve, adopt the ordinance enacting a rezone from plan development to plan development and approve the associated developers commitment agreement and master development plan on 0.86 acres located on the north side of Pemberton Drive, east of South Orange Blossom Trail.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Seeing none, the motion carries. Moving on to item number 4, Wayside Drive Assemblage, PD Major Amendment Rezone.
Good evening. Annie Silloway with Development Services.
The applicant is requesting a rezone from A1 Agriculture and PD Plan Development to PD Plan Development to incorporate 3 parcels into the Wayside Assemblage PD and to establish a new ingress-egress access onto International Parkway. On December 12th, 2023, the applicant received approval for a PD Plan Development rezoning for a mixed-use development on approximately 19.48 acres that consisted of 3 tracts. Tract A has higher intensity plan development target industries, which is HIP-TI, and office uses. Tract B has multifamily and target industry uses, and Tract C has C2 retail commercial and OP office uses. Tract A and Tract B have an existing future land use designation of HIP-TI, which allows a maximum floor area ratio of 1.5. And Tract B allows a maximum density of 40 dwelling units per net buildable acre. And Tract C has a commercial future land use designation, which allows a maximum of 0.35. And these previously approved development entitlements will remain in effect. The newly incorporated parcels are approximately 1.07 acres along the western portion of the proposed development, and the newly proposed ingress-egress access onto International Drive will be required to obtain an approved traffic impact analysis prior to the final development plan. And required improvements may include, but are not limited to, turn lanes, access limitations, and signalized intersections. The buffers along the west perimeter will be evaluated and determined at the time of the final development plan, and the developer will be required to provide 25% open space. The proposed PD zoning designation and the associated master development plan have been evaluated for compliance with the Seminole County Land Development Code review criteria for the plan development as follows. The proposed development is consistent with the Seminole County Comprehensive Plan as stated in the next slide. The HIP-TI future land use designation aims to attract target industries for higher paying employment in strategic locations along the North I-4 corridor, emphasizing proximity to major interchanges. The developer will provide natural resource preservation by amenitizing the stormwater pond that will enhance water quality and habitat. The proposed development creates a live-work environment by reducing the commuting distances by capturing trips on site while also promoting economic growth and connect the development to Wayside and International Parkway. The developer will provide neighborhood and community amenities by providing landscape buffers, internal pathways, and integrated open spaces. The proposed development is consistent with the comprehensive plan by promoting flexibility and creativity and addressing changing social, economic, and market conditions, especially where they are used to implement adopted policies of the comprehensive plan. Per policy FLU 4.5 by uses while providing residential that is subordinate to the target industry uses, and per policy 5.3.3 commercial future land use is to identify locations for a variety of commercial uses, neighborhood, and community shopping centers. Staff finds the request to be consistent with the Seminole County Comprehensive Plan and the Land Development Code and compatible with the trend of development in the surrounding area. The applicant conducted a community meeting on December 2nd, 2025, and no members of the community attended the meeting. Staff requests the Planning and Zoning Commission recommend to the Board of County Commissioners adoption of the ordinance enacting a rezoning ordinance per the following motion. Based on staff's findings and the testimony and evidence received at the hearing, the Planning and Zoning Commission finds the request meets the identified portions of the Seminole County Land Development Code and recommends the Board of County Commissioners adopt the ordinance enacting a rezone from A1 Agriculture and PD Plan Development to PD Plan Development and approve the associated development order and master development plan on approximately 19.98 acres located on the south side of Wayside Drive, east of International Parkway. And I did want to bring to the board's attention that the staff recommendation that is up on the PowerPoint has been revised to include the development order and the master development plan in the motion. So if you wouldn't mind, when you make your motion, to please read the language from the slide that is presented. Thank you. And that concludes my presentation.
Okay, any questions of staff? Is the applicant present?
Hi. Ben Beckham, Meadmore and Stokes, engineer for the project. As Annie mentioned, this project is an existing PD, and this application is to modify that PD to add 3 small parcels to it. They're along International Boulevard. Those additional parcels will allow increased public access to the project for the commercial business uses in the HIP-TI area. The applicant is not requesting any increases to the existing entitlements on the property. The proposed number of units, the proposed building square footages all remain exactly the same as before. So it's just adding a little bit of land area for increased access. We appreciate staff's efforts getting us to this point, working with us during the review of the master development plan. We agree with the conditions of the development order and look forward to a favorable motion. Here to answer any questions.
Questions of the applicant? Would any member of the audience wish to speak in favor or opposition to this request? Seeing none, we'll close public comment. Board questions, discussions, motion?
I'll go in for the motion. Why not? I'll make the motion. I'll recommend that the Board of County Commissioners adopt the ordinance enacting a rezone from A1 agriculture and planned development to planned development and approve the associated development order and master development plan on approximately 19.98 acres located on the south side of Wayside Street, Drive, east of International Parkway.
Okay, second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the motion carries. That concludes our agenda items. Nasa, you wanted to?
Unless Dagmar, do you have anything? Do you want to go first?
It doesn't matter. I can go first. Good evening, Board. Just want to give you some heads up about our upcoming April 1st Planning and Zoning meeting, if you don't mind passing this around. We're going to be doing the presentation of the updates of the Land Development Code that we have been working so diligently for about a year now. These amendments to the Land Development Code are in reaction to, fixing some stuff that were left out from the 2024 update, and also to address some of the requirements from the Envision 2045. What Joy gave you is sort of like like an overall presentation that we prepare for senior staff. This will give you like a quick overlook of what is coming your way. Maya is going to be the project manager for this project. If you have any questions, you can feel free to contact her if you have any questions. We provided you also with the outline of all of the sections that they're going to be amended throughout the Land Development Code. As you can see, it's a lot, but a lot of it has to be because we are streaming the Land Development Code and reorganizing it in a way that it will be more user-friendly. So that's why you're going to see that we touch a lot of sections. Right now, the item, as I said, is scheduled to come forward to this board in April 1st, and for first hearing at the April 24 Board of County Commissioners, and May 12, if I'm not mistaken, for this final public hearing. I might have the dates wrong, but I know it's April and May for adoption. So please feel free if you have any questions while you review the document throughout the coming up weeks. We're concluding our final reviews of the document with NASA. And then once we get that, we will forward you as soon as possible all the materials, so you will have enough time to review all of the materials prior to the meeting, because we recognize that it's going to be a lot coming your way. I'll be glad to answer any preliminary questions that you may have right now. I'll be glad to answer any questions as of the coming weeks as we approach that meeting, but we just wanted to give you a little bit of the material up front so you start looking through it and see what we're moving forward with. Thank you.
So, thank you. I wanted to give you a little heads up about something that may be occurring in the legislature within this week. Currently, there was an amendment that was put forth last week to Senate Bill 208. This amendment was put forth by Senator Martin, who is a senator from Lee County, Florida. Just to give you some background, back in November of last year, Senator Martin asked the Attorney General of Florida to opine as to whether or not, and I'm giving you just the very much highlights of this, generally to opine as to whether or not the Seminole County rural area, the rural boundary, as you know it, I'm sure you all know what that is, whether it was a taking, whether the existence of the rural boundary was a taking, or was grounds for a Bert Harris claim. The Attorney General opined that maybe it was a taking. It could very well constitute a taking, I believe was the language that was used. We were asked by county, we being the county attorney's office, was asked by county administration about the letter and to provide them with our legal analysis of the letter, which is what we did. Our legal analysis of that letter is that the mere existence of the rural boundary is not a taking in and of itself. Everyone in the rural boundary still has development rights. We issue permits for things in the rural boundary consistently. And it's the current future land use and zoning designations of those properties in the rural boundary have existed since 1991 and in some fashion beforehand around the same density. So part of the Attorney General opinion was used by Senator Martin to propose I should say the Attorney General letter was used as groundwork for Senator Martin to propose an amendment to Senate Bill 208 before the Rules Committee. It came in too late, so the amendment was not put forth, it was withdrawn. But during that meeting, on the record, Senator Martin and Senator Broder, who was in support of the amendment, signified the intent that this amendment would be brought back when Senate Bill 208 came to the Senate floor for discussion. What this amendment does is a number of things, and I'll try to highlight them very quickly. It essentially allows for property that is within the rural boundary, up to a mile into the rural boundary, to request that, gives the right to property owners to request that they be removed from the rural boundary. If that request is denied, then they can seek compensation from the county for a taking, and also they get to have the zoning, the density and intensity of an adjacent property that's outside the rural boundary. So you can be from anywhere from the rural boundary line 1 mile in, you can be allowed to automatically receive the density and intensity of a property that's just outside the rural boundary, either contiguous on your property line or, I don't know. It doesn't say how they measure whether you're 1 mile in, if you get to count a Walmart that's 1 mile out, I don't know, but that's the potential for this. So as you can see, if you're 1 mile into the rural boundary and there's a property outside of the rural boundary that's within that mile, you can essentially automatically be granted the density and intensity that's permitted on that property and be paid for it. So you get both, which is a problem. You know, compensation for takings claims is you get paid because something's taken away from you. In this case, you're not getting anything taken away from you. You're actually having something given to you, and you're also getting paid for it. There are some significant, obviously, concerns with this proposed legislation. It will have the effect, we believe it could have the domino effect, where if one property 1 mile in is removed from the rural boundary, then conceivably another property a mile into the rural boundary can be removed, and another one, and will result in spot zoning within our agricultural area into areas where obviously there isn't necessary infrastructure to be able to serve those areas because it's supposed to be the rural area and we're not providing, urban level services out there. But it allows for urban level development. And that's just the biggest issue. There are a number of other issues with this bill. So our office has been working a lot, tirelessly, to try to, and county admin and the county commissioners have been trying to educate other senators as to the ramifications of this. And it's not just ramifications to Seminole County, it's ramifications for anyone that has a rural boundary in this, or rural areas in the state of Florida that require a majority vote to remove or change the zoning on that property or remove it from the rural area, whatever the case may be. So it could potentially have far-reaching effects. I wanted to bring it to your attention because you are the Planning and Zoning Commission, and this is right up your planning and zoning alley. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
No, that was pretty.
Comprehensive?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep, if there's any questions that you have, I will keep you apprised on what occurs with this. I can give you an update at the April 1st meeting and let you know what's happening. And if you have any questions that you think of after this meeting, you can always feel free to give me a call, and I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Then if there's no further business tonight, meeting is adjourned.